So let's take a look at an example from genealogy in the archives. If I click here on Brucey, Brucey is not that far off from the Gdansk area. It's further south in southern part of Prussia. So let's take a look at how this website works. Right here is your navigations here over on the left, or if you prefer, it's the same basic thing down here on the bottom. When you take a look at these images right here, you have to advance image by image here. You could use the arrows for navigation as well. Some of them are indexed. If you take a look right here in this upper right corner, if there is a number there, then that will tell you that that record has been indexed. And unfortunately, it looks like none of Brucey's records have been indexed, but you can look on over here. There will be a tab that you can click on that'll show you the different names that have been indexed from the record. So it gives all the information that you need right here, looking at the year and all of that great stuff. You can download the image using this button right here. They have a pretty strict authentication process, so it takes a while to download each individual image. You can't zoom in until you click Launch Zooming Tool. Depending upon how fast your internet connection speed is, it might take a little while for this to happen. Just be patient with it, and then use your mouse to click and zoom in on whatever part of the record that you would like to look at. So genealogy in the archives is an excellent tool to use when you're looking at your research if your church book for your village of origin has been digitized. So definitely check it out. It can be a little cumbersome. I'm going to hit the back button and go back to that page right here. This index right here, the only way it'll work is if you type the name exactly in there. That even it needs Polish diacritic marks or German diacritic marks. It needs the umlauts and all that great stuff in order for it to function if the indexer put them in, which usually they did. Most of the indexers on this website are from Poland, Germany area, so they probably have it spelled correctly, but you know how tough it can be to read old documents So that's one of the drawbacks of using the index and the database features of this website is that it just doesn't have that nice algorithm search that other websites do. So definitely check it out. Another website I'd like to highlight to you. This is for if you have ancestry in East Prussia. So this one would be east of Gdansk. This would still be in Poland. The archives in Olsztyn right here has a lot of church books digitized. Now, this is not any indexed records. There's no databases for it. And you can use these drop-down menus to search for what you are looking for. Unfortunately, they don't have a good English interface for this website. So you need to know a little bit of Polish to be able to navigate it. Like miasta means city, acta, act. That's pretty obvious. So you just kind of have to scroll through here to see the findings right here. So taking a look at some civil records right here. This is Polish for civil record right here. So you can see the different areas that have been digitized for record keeping. So this is a good one to use if you have ancestry in East Prussia along the eastern part of Pomerania. Likewise, the archives in Stettin has a lot of material that is digitized. It does not have a good English interface either. In fact, it doesn't have the nice drop-down menu. You need to search in this box for the title of the collection, not the name. None of these are indexed, but the title of the collection to see if it is there. They have some resources for you if you click on genealogy. But again, you'll have to use Google Translate to help you with a lot of this if you don't speak the language. So a lot of it is related to what they have in their physical archives. But as you can see, here you go, archive material online. Let's click on that. And so you can see the materials that they have been digitized with their catalog that we were looking at before. So another website that can help you with your Pomeranian research is Genetica. All you have to do is type Genetica right here into Google, and this is what will pop up. So we'll focus on these top 3 provinces right here in Poland. I will tell you that among these that you can see the data for it. When we look at East Prussia, you have a decent amount of churches indexed and registries indexed for just shy of 200,000 names. When we look at Zachodnopomorski, When we look at the far West Prussia bordering on Germany, it drops down to not even 5,000 names that have been indexed. This is in comparison to other parts of the country. Like you can see, southern Poland has more in Łódź and Mazowiecki and that kind of thing. So there's not a whole lot out there, but again, that's, the fun of genealogy. It's searching as many places as you can, and you never know. Maybe your ancestor is one of those names that got indexed in there. So make sure that you take a look at that resource, because you might be able to find something with it. Another helpful feature of Genetica is if you click on the home button right here, they do have an English interface for this website. So right here, we can click on the American British flag, although that's mostly just for the basic controls of the site. Like obviously here, these are forum posts that people posted. Obviously, those will stay in their native language, and you can see it doesn't translate everything. It just translates a few things. But Genetica has this nice feature right here. You see this little picture of the church right there? If you click on that, this will show you any of the churches right here in the area of what is today Poland. So you can type that in so you can see what has been what is still in existence essentially, as well as what has been transcribed. So let's go with Gdansk right here. I'll type that in and let's see what pops up for it. So obviously there's more than one church in a big city like that. Right here, let's take a look at the year that it was founded in, that we are most interested in early ones. Here we go. Here is a 12th century church in Gdansk. Let's click on it and see what information has here. So looking at St. Wojciech, so St. Adalbert's church here, you can see all this nice information here. It gives you the contact information to get like church records. Honestly, I don't recommend contacting an individual church. I think you're better off contacting an archives or a professional researcher to help you with this kind of thing. But you can see right here that it gives good information. What has been indexed and on the internet from this church? Nothing. What is within the church itself? Well, in the church itself, they have birth records going back to 1870, marriage records going back to 1870, and death records going back to 1861. Then you can see right here that in the church archives, in the Archdiocese Archive of Gdansk-Olivia, you've got right here all the way back to the 1600s. So that would be pretty sweet. There's also an option right here where people are able to say if that is like a church that they are researching, and usually they'll leave like their username on the site. Like you can send them a personal message on the site. Occasionally people will leave their email address, and sometimes they leave like surnames they're looking at. Like this particular person did not type it in from what I can see, but with my, he doesn't have that in there. But sometimes people do have that typed up in there. So really interesting tool. This is one that I really like to use, especially when I look at what records are available, because on the Family Search website in the catalog, the LDS Church did a great job of digitizing and gathering records. But that being said, it is not 100% by any means. I've discovered that a couple times. Like even I had one ancestral parish where everything was microfilmed by the LDS Church, except for one book of baptism records from the 1700s. So in my head, I assumed that it just didn't exist anymore. But I contacted a researcher that I know in Poland. He's like, oh, yeah, it's there. It's in the Archdiocese archives. It just, for some reason, wasn't microfilmed. So definitely check out stuff like this for information. Now, the official digitization efforts is called Search the Archives. This is the website of the National Archival System in Poland. And as you can see, they have more than 32 million images on their website. Very impressive. But that being said, that's the tip of the iceberg, because the 32 million figure includes everything from like war correspondence, church books, they have journals, they've got maps, they've got just like town records, that kind of thing. So they literally have a little bit of everything on this website. So this is a good one to search if you know exactly the name of the parish that you're interested in. I also like this little feature right here, only with scans. If you don't check that, they'll show you everything that they have available to them, which would be in their archives, and you would have to hire someone to take a look at. So search the archives definitely would include some good info.